Okay, so I'm going to show how to find the collision points for number 3 on WebAssign here. So to collide, the particle has to have the same x's and the same y's at the same time, right? Having the same x could be the top or the bottom. Both have to be the same at the same time. So what we do is we set the x is equal and the y is equal. Now again, I have a 3 here. You might have different numbers, but it's the same math. So if we set the x is equal, we have 3 sine t is equal to negative 3 plus cosine of t. And we set the y is equal, we get 2 cosine of t equals 1 plus sine t. Now we gotta do some algebra. I want to have, it'd be nice if I had an equation with only sines or only cosines, because mixing the two is kind of a mess. So it doesn't matter which one you go. Let's solve for sine here and plug it into here. Okay, so this is from the x equation, this is from the y equation. Let's solve for sine here and plug it into there. So putting the 1 on this side, I have sine t is equal to 2 cosine t minus 1. Just putting this one over here. Now I'm going to take this sine and stick it into there. Okay, so from the x equation then, this equation right here, I'm going to take this sine, put it there. So I have 3 of those. So 3 of the sine t's, which is now this, 3 times 2 cosine t minus 1 equals this, negative 3 plus cosine t. Okay, now I only have cosines. That makes my math a lot easier. Let's multiply this out. So I have 6 cosine t minus 3 equals negative 3 plus cosine t. Notice this is awesome. I have a minus 3 and a minus 3. So if I add 3 to both sides, those go away. So what I have is 6 cosine t equals cosine t. Right away, we can see there's a problem here. How can 6 times something equal that thing? The only way that can be true is if cosine t is 0. Okay, so cosine t has to be 0, because otherwise, because 6 times 0 is 0, but 6 times any other number isn't the same as the number. So right away, we know that cosine t has to be 0. We're only looking for t between 0 and 2 pi. Okay, so what t's between 0 and 2 pi make this true? And cosine, remember, is the x value. So the x value is 0 when it's right here or when it's right here. So the first answer would be pi over 2. And the second answer all the way over here would be 3 pi over 2. So this only happens when t is pi over 2 or 3 pi over 2. Okay, those are only possible answers when cosine 0. Now we check and make sure that they both work. Okay, so let's see what's the best way. Okay, so let's make sure that both of those work. So let's plug this into here. Okay, they have to have the same x's and y's. So let's try pi over 2. Okay, so x1 would be 3 sine of pi over 2 is 1. So x1 is 3. x2 is cosine of pi over 2 is 0. Here's where you got to know your unit circle, right? Cosine pi over 2 is 0. That's the whole point. So x2 is negative 3. Uh-oh, they have different x's. So pi over 2 is not a solution. Okay, so let's try 3 pi over 2. We don't even have to try the y values, because if they're not the same x's, it's not a solution. So let's try the x one. Sine of 3 pi over 2 is negative 1, right? The y value here is negative 1. So that would give us x1 is negative 3. x2, cosine of 3 pi over 2, again, is 0, because there's no x value for 3 pi over 2. So x2 is negative 3. Okay, so far so good. Let's try the y values now. y1, cosine 3 pi over 2 is 0. y2, sine of 3 pi over 2, sine of 3 pi over 2 is negative 1. Negative 1 plus 1. So it'd be 1 plus negative 1, which is 0. And so they match. They're both negative 3 and 0. So our point is negative 3 comma 0. There's only one point. You should get only one point also. My numbers gave me negative 3, 0. The way I did it, that's the only place. Your numbers would be slightly different. Boy, it sure looks like whatever the red number is this number here, right? Don't know if that'll work for you, but since my red number is 3 and I got negative 3, maybe it's just your red number here is 0, so I don't know. But that's how you do these. You got to remember your trigonometry, the unit circle, just what's cosine, sine. Of course, you can plug stuff in your calculator and figure it out, but it's way better to understand it. Why is cosine of 3 pi over 2 0? Why is sine of 3 pi over 2 negative 1? So, okay, that's how you do that. Hope that helps. Bye.